Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned veteran, by the end of this video, your offensive game will be 10 times better. Now, I'm not some random YouTuber hyping this up, because I've stacked thousands of dollars winning games, coached hundreds of players to sharpen their schemes, taken down some of the best defensive minds in the world, and even have my offensive tips on the official EA website. So you know, what I'm about to show you isn't that typical YouTube clickbait. And stick around until the end, because these tips get better and better. We're starting off with a bang, because for the first tip, I'm going to show you how to pass lead streaks for instant touchdowns versus man coverage. The key starts in your settings. Set your passing to placement or placement and accuracy, with pass lead increase set to small. Then you need to put a streak on a receiver close to your quarterback, like a short side receiver, a tight end, or a slot. From there, pay attention to the shading of the defensive backs. In this example, you can see the slot corner is shaded inside, which means when you snap the ball, you're going to pass lead the streak down and outside for a huge gain or a touchdown. But if they're shaded outside, you're going to pass lead the streak down and inside for another easy chunk gain. Nothing is more frustrating than getting screamed at by a blitz. So for tip number 2, I'm going to show you the pass pro you need to be using. And to set up that pass pro, you're going to go to your coaching adjustments, scroll down to protection, and select base. Then after you select your play, flick up on the right stick to activate the untarget feature. Then navigate to their user and select them with the X or A button. This will block any loop blitz, pretty much any stunt, including the Texas 4-man. And if you block your halfback and do this, you could even block heavy blitzes like mid blitz and 4-3-6-1. For tip number 3, I'm going to show you how to use only one route to beat every coverage in the game, and that's the stem curl. To put it on the field, you need to first put a curl route on any of your interior receivers by pressing triangle or Y, the receiver's icon, and then down on the left stick. From there, you're going to once again press triangle or Y, the receiver icon, but you're going to hold the left bumper and press up on the D-pad 1 to 2 times to stem it up. At that point, you have one of the best routes in the game on your field, because it can be thrown versus any version of man coverage, even shade underneath man coverage if thrown on break. Then it hits the best zone soft spots, beating both cover 3 and cover 4, and it beats cover 2. So adding this route to your offense is a legit no-brainer. Another route you absolutely need in your Madden 26 offense is the speed table. You'll find it in plays like high-low dig, slants, stick, and spacing switch. All super common and in tons of offenses. And you can leave these plays basically stock, because the speed table itself will automatically fry man coverage because the angle makes it impossible for DBs to stay with it. But it doesn't stop there. If you throw a simple slant route on your solo receiver, it will pull hard flats inside, leaving the speed table completely uncovered against zone for easy yards. So whether you're facing man or zone, the speed table wins. It's low effort, high reward, and honestly, something you should be calling over and over until your opponents prove they can stop it. But if you want to build an offense around one route, you should do it with the crab route, which can be found in high-low cross, motion cross post, inside high-low, and more. And it's basically a halfback reverse flat route, but don't let that fool you. This thing shreds defenses because it obliterates man coverage, and it's a massive gain versus cover 0. Then if the defense doesn't have a hard flat, it's a guaranteed 10 yards. And if they do, you can pair it with a comeback, and the crab route will yank the hard flat down, leaving the comeback wide open. That's why the crab route isn't just a gimmick, it's a foundational route that you can build your entire offense around. For this next tip, I'm going to show you the 2 techniques to roll out on basically every defense in the game, even if they have contains. This will give you extra time to throw deep passes or even scramble for easy yards. The first way is super easy. Simply block your tight end and then wait for him to get leverage on the outside most defender. Once that happens, begin to roll out with your quarterback and you'll see the lane is wide open. The other way is to double team the outside most pass rusher. He'll lose leverage quickly and then you can roll out with ease. Right now, the most popular coverage defense online is cover 4 quarters with hard flats. But there's a secret way to bomb this defense every time. To bomb it out of a trip set, simply align the 3 receivers to the wide side of the field. Put a post on the middle receiver, a streak on the slot, and a comeback on the outside most trips receiver. What will happen is the inside quarter will drop to the deep post, leaving the streak wide open for an easy touchdown. Then if you're in a bunch set, you're going to want to have it on the wide side of the field. Have a corner on your tight end, a deep post on your slot receiver, and a streak on the outside-most receiver. Just like before, the inside corner will drop to the post, leaving the streak open for a touchdown. Before I jump into the rest of these insane tips, and you don't want to miss them, let me tell you about the resource that's changing the lives of thousands of Madden and CFB players. And that resource is victoryformation.gg, which already has 3 full game plans and 25 plus elite tips, like breaking flat zones for massive gains and freezing inside thirds for guaranteed touchdowns, tips you won't find anywhere else. Now, our members are dominating online, crushing their league competition, and some are even winning hundreds of dollars in tournaments. So if you're ready to join the winning team, you can get your first month for only $11.95 using code SWOLO. Some route combos are borderline unguardable, but this one is straight up unstoppable, so let me show you it for this section. Introducing the streak fade corner concept that all the pros have been spamming online. To set this play up, you're going to run any version of a bunch set, align it to the wide side of the field, streak the tight end, slot fade the slot receiver, put a corner on the outside most bunch receiver, and stem him all the way down. And it's highly recommended you drag your backside player. Versus cover 3 and cover 4, you'll be able to hit your corner out for an easy dot. But if they play deep flats, you can hit your drag route. Not to mention that both the corner and the drag route can fry man coverage as well. Then against cover 2, you'll have the slot fade for a gigantic gain. And if you're playing a switch stick heavy player, they'll end up switching to their deep zone to guard the corner and completely give up the slot fade for a TD. This next section is really cheesy because we're going over the insane QB speed burst you can get when leaving the pocket. To do this, you're going to snap the ball, then begin holding R2. Then at the exact same time, you're going to push the left stick down and to the left while flicking the right stick right. If you have a left-handed quarterback, you're going to do it the exact opposite way, pushing the left stick down and to the right while flicking the right stick left. And that will perform this insane QB speed rollout move, yielding easy scrambles and tons of extra time to throw. Remember earlier in the video where I talked about untargeting to block blitzes? Did you know you can actually use this feature to gash your opponents in the run game? Most runs get shot in the backfield by good players, and that can be super frustrating. But you can actually prevent it using the untarget feature. Simply flick the right stick up and untarget a backside defender like a defensive end or a slot corner. This will change the blocking logic and completely prevent any gap shoots from happening. So you can run the ball without ever having to worry again. Now these next few tips are a little bit more advanced, so we're going to
slow it down a bit.
And the first advanced tip we're covering is the slot fade bomb, the fastest one-play TD in Madden 26. To set up a slot fade bomb, you need to meet a few requirements. You number one need to have your 3 receivers aligned to the wide side of the field. You need to be in a 3 receiver formation, and your slot receiver can't be so far out, right? So you don't want him to be like a trip set or a Y-op trip set. So for example, it would not work from something like Y-op trip sweep. At this point, he's too close to the numbers and he'll get the attention of the outside zones, right? So you can't bomb like this. I like trip sex nasty. If you are familiar with me, you know I love slot fade bombs. You know I love trip sex nasty. And we're gonna start by showing you how to bomb cover 4 and cover 3 with a slot fade route. So to do this, I'm gonna streak my inside most receiver, put an out route on the outside most trips receiver, stem him up 2.5 notches with the D-pad. So 2 on the D-pad and then up on the left stick once. Very simple. And then after the patch, you actually can't stem the slot fade anymore. So how are we gonna bomb? Well, you actually can. There's a little bit of a tactic you can use. It's kind of a workaround. And you can actually smart route the slot fade. And then from there, you can stem them all the way back down, stem them up, doesn't really matter, okay? But when you smart route, it's gonna go to the depth of the first down line. So if it's 1st and 10, it's gonna go about 10 yards. And then all you have to do is stem it up 2 more times with the D-pad, sorry. And then up on the left stick once for a total of 4.5 times, okay? So it's gonna look something like this. But let's say you don't know what depth you're at. I like to smart route, then bring him all the way back down and then stem up exactly 4.5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, half, okay? Then I'm gonna snap the ball, wait about a half second, and you're gonna see that the R1 receiver is going to be wide open for an easy rack catch, oftentimes a 1-play score. It really is that easy. And just to show you that it is consistent, we're gonna run it 1 time versus cover 3 because that was cover 4. So here we have a cover 3 defense set up. And all we're gonna do, set it up the exact same way, I should say. That's what we're going to do. wait about a half second, the outside third's gonna drop, and you can see versus cover 3, it is even more open, and it's an easy one-play score. So that's how you slot fade bomb cover 3 and cover 4. To bomb cover 2, you're gonna do things just a little bit differently. You're just going to streak the tight end and then have a slot fade on your R1 receiver. But you need to make a good read on the safety, right? So I'm gonna snap the ball, read the safety. As soon as he turns inside, that's when you pass lead out and rat catch it and try to take it upfield and get that gigantic gain. Now, I think it's really important to mention this because we talked about it earlier for pass leading streaks, but this has another use case here. I have my pass lead increase set to small. And if I didn't have my pass lead increase set to small, I probably wouldn't be able to throw that ball just like I did. So once again, snap the ball, wait for the safety to turn inside, and then pass lead it outside. You can see that safety's got no chance. And if you have a fast receiver, you can outrun him for a one-play score. So that's how you can use slot fades to bomb cover 2, right? And so we have something for cover 3, we have something for cover 4, and we have something for cover 2. So it really is the ultimate zone bomb. After you've moved down the field, you're going to need to score in the red zone. So let me show you the 2 best ways to do it. The first technique we're going to be covering is hitches on the numbers, aka like a hitch crosser. It's really, really easy to run. All we're going to do is make sure that we have a slot receiver aligned almost exactly with the numbers. So when we put him on a curl and stem him all the way down, so he's basically a hitch, and put a crosser over him, so in this case, the tight end's on a crosser going over him, we know that that curl or hitch is going to hold any flat zones, allowing us to throw the crosser over him. It really is that simple. It's one of the simplest red zone route concepts in the game. This next concept I like to call the hitch comeback because we're once again going to put a curl route on a receiver on the numbers on the short side of the field. This will also work to the long side if you can get a receiver on the numbers, of course. Stem him all the way down and then put a comeback outside of him. Now this will only work from the 7 and in, so keep this in mind. And what you're going to notice is when I snap the ball, that outside corner is going to pull inwards to go play the curl or the hitch, leaving the comeback open. So I'm going to snap the ball, he's going to pull inwards, and then you're just going to throw the easy comeback for an easy touchdown. It's a super simple concept, and 99% of zone defenses can't guard it. Truly elite players can read defenses before the ball is even snapped. So let me show you how you can easily do that. Now to do this, it really only requires 3 very simple steps. Number 1 means counting the safeties. If there's one high safety, they could be in cover 3 or they could be in cover 1, right? And if there's 2 high safeties, they could be in cover 4 like this, or they could be in cover 2, right? And then they could also be in cover 2 man, right? So I'll show you what a cover 2 man looks like as well, right? So they could also be in a defense that looks cover 2 man or 2 men under, whatever you want to call it. They could also be in something that looks like this, right? Which is more of a pressed 2 high safety look. So that's how you break it into 2 options. Single high, cover 3 or cover 1, 2 high, cover 2 man, cover 4 or cover 2. The next step is to determine if they are in man or if they're in zone, and if they have a single high safety, right? And you want to determine if they're in man or zone, motion a guy over. And if they follow, that means they're in a cover 1, right? But if they do not follow, let's say I motion this guy over, no one's following me, they're in a cover 3, right? And it really is that simple when they have a single high safety. And if they have 2 high safeties and a defensive back follows after a motion, they are almost 100% in cover 2 man. But if a receiver does not, or if a defensive back, my apologies, does not follow when a receiver motions, they could even be in cover 4, they could be in cover 2, and they could also be in cover 6 or cover 9. So we need to figure out what they could be in that particular case. And the way to do this in that case is to look at the cornerback depth. If the cornerbacks are 5 to 6 yards from the line of scrimmage, both of them, they're in cover 2. And if their cornerbacks are 7 to 9 yards from the line of scrimmage like so, they're actually in a cover 4. And it really is that simple. But then if they're in cover 6 or cover 9, you can still use the same technique. Because if they're in cover 6, the corner that is 5 to 6 yards off the line of scrimmage is the cover 2 side of the cover 6. But the corner that is 7 to 9 yards off the line of scrimmage on the left here is the cover 4/4 side of the cover 6. So what you really want here, or what you're really paying attention to, is the cornerback depth. So if you know they're in zone, and you know they have 2 high safeties, or you can see they have 2 high safeties, that's when you look at cornerback depth. If you're not spamming cheat motion wheels, you're seriously doing something wrong. So for this tip, I'm gonna show you the best ways to use them. The first step in using cheat motion wheels is to simply streak your solo receiver and have your cheat motion wheel running towards the short side of the field. And you can find cheat motion wheels in tons of different formations: bunch X nasty, trips that end flex, Y off trio close, and many, many more. I'm in motion cross post in the Steelers playbook in this example. Then you're just gonna snap the ball. Now the streak is gonna hold the deep zone long enough for us to throw the wheel route beneath the deep zone. Make a man miss if you can, and that could be a one-play score. Now that's versus cover 2, and it works the exact same way versus a cover 3 defense. So what I'm going to do, snap the ball, make sure I have that streak on my solo receiver and the wheel is running to the short side, throw the wheel, get an easy dot, you can possession catch it right beneath him. You don't even really need to pass lead it, it really is that open. So if you want to use cheat motion wheels, you want to pair it with a solo receiver streak, and you want to have the wheel route running towards the short side of the field. Playmaker is already in Ultimate Team, and it's one of the most overpowered abilities in the game. So for this last tip, I'm going to show you the best ways to use it. Now there's two primary design ways I like to use Playmaker. Way number one is with zig routes. All I like to do is choose the cut of where that zig route is going. So if I notice he's going to run into coverage, I'll Playmaker him upfield, pressing L2 and flicking the right stick up. Because that's how you use Playmaker. You just hold L2 and flick the right stick in the direction you want the receiver closest to you to go. And then the other route I really like to use is a return route. Because with return routes, you can do a few things, right? And the main thing is you can make it go upfield and turn it into a streak. So for example, hopefully this actually is open here. I'll actually use something else. I'll call like a cover 2, okay? You can actually turn it into a streak. So wait, oh, I notice it's gonna get open. You can turn it into like a streak or a post, and it's an easy dot. And then the other method is to simply make him go the other direction. So for example, if they, for example, did not have a flat, so let's say they had a hook zone only, because they expected you to put that return route on. So they were aware, they knew you were running a return. Well, that's when you can actually just steer him in the other direction. So let's say, oh, there's no flat, steer him this way, easy dot to the sideline, right? So that's another way you could use Playmaker on return routes. So with zig routes, I recommend you could turn them upfield. You could turn them in the other direction as well. I should say that is also really insane. So let's say they didn't have a flat on the right. You can actually, with zig routes, same thing as return routes, you can actually turn it in the other direction. So for example, oh, he's running into coverage, turn him, and then throw him in that other direction. Granted, that was into coverage. So with zig routes, you can change their direction completely or make them go upfield, and then you could do basically the same thing with return routes, and it allows you to really dictate what your route combo is after you've snapped the football, which makes it super insane. Since you've watched this video all the way through, you now have the best offensive tips guaranteed to get you scoring more TDs. But there's only one thing you need now, and that's an elite defense. So click the video on screen to learn how to play 10 times better defense.